No.
Okay.
Get out of the way. What do you mean? No, I'm fine.
Why are you sweating so much?
Because I just taking the shit. It hurts.
Okay.
I gotta take a shit still.
Alright.
Can I go poop?
Dude, nope.
Please? Baby!
No.
Come here, baby, please. Hold on, let me get dresses.
Can I poop?
I gotta go poop.
I've been saying that all day. I think that's such a important question to ask police officers, because if he just did, you never know what can happen. Like if he just
did
pooped and he didn't ask, you never know how they're going to react to something like that. You gotta ask before you do anything in front of these police officers these days.
Oh, he was like, "Can I go back inside and poop before you take me away?" Is basically the gist.
I mean, that guy was speaking in gists. He all of his sentences were like very difficult to understand. He definitely drank more than anyone who lived in that city that day. But I think it's really interesting for a cop to be like, "Why are you so sweaty?" And because I got a shit.
I remember there being a thing where they were like, you can't smoke and poop.
Who's smoking and pooping? Who's
like
doing that?
Like if you're high, you can't poop.
Oh, I don't believe that. I feel like that would actually be a really good.
You guys all whatever. No.
I get diarrhea every time I smoke.
Ooh, okay. Well, welcome to Channel 1 News, everybody. We got breaking news here. Angelo, who is our resident behind the camera here, apparently gets diarrhea every time that he smokes marijuana.
I think you should stop smoking.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
the case. I think you're allergic,
healthy, bro.
I think you're allergic
There's
to,
something
to
going
smoking.
on.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, I don't
but
believe you. I think you're just saying that because we're
covering your ass now.
Well,
I do know that
Can I
doing chew makes my uncle take shits. Like
I think
that's like
tobacco
laxative.
does, in general, it's like a.
Oh, but you're strictly talking marijuana.
Oh well, no. I guess I wasn't strictly.
I'm not talking about anything really.
Yeah.
Who said you can't shit when you smoke?
Tyler said that.
Well then, what do you?
You can definitely poop at both times. I don't, regardless of what you're speaking of. I just think you can definitely poop regardless of what you're smoking, but that's actually a slippery slope of a question, because if you're smoking like
your butt's
crazy stuff, dude. If you're smoking like, I don't know what it's like to smoke crack, but
yes, you do.
I don't know what it's like to smoke crack, but I definitely don't know what it's like to like try to function as an adult. I feel like when you're doing that, I feel like when you, well, both, but also the crack.
Nice pause there.
But I feel like when, because I just feel like any menial task you can't do when you're on crack cocaine. Like, I feel like, like you're not sitting down, going to the bathroom, just casually like, you got other stuff to do. You're like stealing
I bet it's a whole
TVs,
adventure too. Like it's like one of those scenes where you're like, looking for the toilet, everything's distorted.
You see your hand in front of you is all.
And you're not like in your mind, you're not pooping, but you're pooping in front of everybody else, and you're not in the bathroom probably.
Is that oh no, because that's like PCP, where you just want to get naked and run around like crazy,
salsa, baby.
Yeah, I mean PCP is crazy. I had a kid, my first roommate. We're name dropping still, right? I don't want to name drop with the PCP. So. Yes, still. My first roommate in college told me he never smoked weed except for one time, and the reason he never smoked again was because the person laced it with PCP. And the story was crazy because he wasn't really. We asked him like, "Hey, so would you do PCP again? Like, what was it like?" And he was like, "Just kind of like." A little bit more buzzed, and I was like, I don't believe you, dude. I've seen the videos.
Maybe in your head,
yeah.
But to everybody else around you, they were like, "Oh my
like,
god,
this fucking guy's on PCP."
The PCP makes you more buzzed, or makes you
it's like
an alcohol buzzed.
I think again, I don't quite know how it feels, so I don't know what he's referring to when he's saying the word buzzed, but I don't think it's a downer. I've seen the people in the streets naked running into cars. I don't think it's like a. Like opium. I think you got a way different feel if you're like taking on trucks, you're like, I'm going to get naked and run into this Ford Focus. Like, I don't think you're like also wanting to just chill on the couch, they're very different very different energies. But
Ford Focus is not a truck.
yeah, I know. But you still run into stuff.
Yeah.
You know? I just don't think like maybe I think even if I was on PCP and I was like, I gotta run into a vehicle, I'd still understand like you probably can't
Not
take
that
on
big of a vehicle.
I probably can't take on a truck. I'd be
Not
like,
a
take something
F-150.
easy, take on a Fiat, something kind of cool. But yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
just making sure you're educated.
yeah, I'm educated.
Okay.
Yeah. He said that was the first and only time he ever smoked marijuana. And then he was still open to smoking marijuana again. So much so that when I went to the emergency room, he stole marijuana from me. I was in the emergency room for 3 days. He stole marijuana from me. The only reason I found out was because when I came home, he was telling the story on the phone to some kid. He didn't know I was home. I heard it through the wall. And he's like, so my roommate's been in the hospital for like 3 days. So I went into his room and I stole his weed. And I'm on the other side of the wall like, Kyle, what the hell you, dude? Why are you stealing my weed, dude? And and that was that.
To blur that out.
No, I didn't say his last name,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kyle.
There's a lot of Kyles, It's at least,
We know you are, Kyle.
yeah, Kyle.
I carried you
Don't
home
fuck
one
with
Never
us,
day.
Kyle.
forgave you. That was a lot of weird, like, I never looked at myself as like, that year I did smoke a lot of weed, but I never looked at myself as like a stoner kid because I always identified them strictly with like the posters they had in their room. Like every person I identified as a weed kid back then was they had the like hemp sweaters. I don't even know if they were hemp, but you know the ones I'm talking about?
Oh, they look scratchy?
Yeah, they look uncomfortable. They
Like the
have
sweater that SpongeBob made for Squidward?
yeah, exactly. That's actually awesome. Yeah, and they had like Bob Marley posters in their room, and those were the ones that I only ever associated with being like weed people. Even people to this day who I see who smoke all the time, who I know are just constantly high when I'm talking to them, unless they're rocking like some kind of like Jamaican colored beads thing. I'm not. I associate them as just like a person who smokes weed rather than a weed person.
You have the same idea of a stoner as like every 2001 movie producer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because that's definitely how they were in the movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like Dude, Where's My Car?
or
Dude, Where's
like
My
yeah,
Car?
or like Half Baked or something. They all are. Yeah. No, I don't know why. That's like my
They all got
idea.
the UV posters in their rooms.
Well, now they're all scientists. Now they all
Now
got
they all
like
love
now they all like got
space.
crazy
What's going on with that?
spice.
Space?
Space. Oh,
What's going on with space?
What's going on with space, dude? What's in the news?
In the sky.
Space
Come
is
on,
crazy.
it's all
It
around
is
us,
up in the
man.
sky, bro. Yeah. I don't know. I just I wonder whatever happened to those guys. Like, did they? I don't want to call them reformed because there's nothing wrong with them, But did they grow into just like a suit and tie corner office type person? Do they put a Bob Marley poster up in their corner office?
They're
like,
probably
what's
more
the-
Pineapple Express Seth Rogen's now, like, they're wearing their tie and their shirt and they come home from work and then they're just like, oh,
blaze it, baby.
Smoke.
Yeah. It must be nice to be that excited about weed still, because it wore off in a year for me. Like, I really liked it, but then I really hated it. And now every time I can't even think about
can't
it.
even look at the stuff.
Yeah, and if you do it, you're going to hell. Jesus doesn't know who you are. I think that one's almost worse than if Jesus doesn't love you. He just doesn't know. He doesn't even know you, dude. He didn't even go here. Yeah. When was do you guys still frequent the herb? No? All little good boys? It's because of the Jesus thing I just said about you guys. Yeah.
Gotten really into him lately.
Really into him?
Yeah.
What's your favorite fun fact about
my favorite
Jesus?
fun fact about Jesus is his name starts with a G.
Oh, wow. That's a hot take, as they say. I think my favorite thing about Jesus was that he was like living, they always describe him as like living in a cave, and no way, dude. Like, they're always
I really know zero about Jesus.
No
I've
way.
never tried to learn
dude,
about
can
him.
I take you down a trip down memory lane for
No.
me? I used to go to, I'm not going to tell you about Jesus.
Oh, I thought you were going to preach to me
I'm just
all
going
of
to
a
tell you
sudden.
about my life.
I know you're really into him.
I know a lot about the guy. I think he's kind of a cool dude. I think he had like very progressive thoughts, and was shredded. Had totally
He was shredded.
He
That
was
man
shredded,
was hot.
bro. He had abs.
He's a good-looking guy, that Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know why they're always making Jesus so damn sexy. Like they're literally.
Well, they can't make him ugly. Nobody would follow an
no
ugly
one would
guy.
follow an ugly guy, dude. Yeah, because it's like, what are you blabbering about?
Yeah,
you know,
they give him like long, luscious hair.
right now.
Huh?
Jesus with a G. G Unit Jesus. That
My G Jesus.
yeah, he like would not be taken seriously at all because he literally was like, "Yo, throw away your money, dude." Everyone would be like, "How about you fucking go back where you came from? Because you're speaking gibberish right now." Like no one would agree with him. Like
no one would. And then I feel like if he said, I mean, well, you know, because there was plenty other guys who were like Jesus's, like, I'm not going to say one that was kind of directly after him that a lot of people like.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
You can say him. You can't draw him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can say
Yeah,
Muhammad.
well, he was after Jesus.
Yeah, wait a minute. You've said some funny things today. I usually don't like when you're on the mic, you know, that's just a pet peeve of mine. But you're saying good words. You can't shit when you diarrhea constantly when you're on weed.
Yeah, you guys don't diarrhea constantly.
I think Angelo just looks for something to say, and then something like crazy comes out of his mouth. He's like,
You guys didn't get crazy boners when you smoked?
Only when I'm also shitting. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely say Mohammed. You just can't show a picture. Of him. But I don't even know why that is.
No, I was gonna get into like people believe in just random guys, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing is like
the Mormon one though is what I wanted to get to.
Oh, David Blaine.
Yeah,
no,
David Blaine.
It's something. He's some blonde dude. I watched the South Park, and the South Park episode's shockingly accurate on how it went down. Where they,
you showed me
David
that.
Smith, I think is his name. He said that there were these gold plates that he found in the woods, and only he could read them. So he brought them home to translate them, and he said, "Hey guys, crazy coincidence. I'm a prophet. I'm the only one who can read these. You got to give me a bunch of cash." And we got to follow God, who's, by the way, from Missouri. Like, that's, like, pretty much what went down. And everyone was like, yeah, man, I'm with it. Again, they left old Jeebus Kinks behind. And
Jeebus what?
and they're on to the next guy, you know? But I wonder who the next guy is. Like... he was probably the most recent one was the Mormon guy, right? The Scientology doesn't really have a guy. They have
I think
like
according to certain people, it's Trump.
right. Maybe dude. No joke. This is like no joke though, but it's very close to being like it's for sure like a cult. But I think the difference between Trump is that he wasn't like a martyr. So like if Trump like actually died while he was like. Like, you know how the conspiracy theories would go crazy if Trump died his last year of the White House? That would have been crazy. If Trump got COVID and died, like when he got COVID, they would have lost their minds. They would have, QAnon would have had a real conspiracy on their hands, and I might have been prone to believe them. Because, I mean, again, none of this is real. He got beat. QAnon is still waiting for JFK and like Elvis Presley
in the time machines.
Yeah, they're on some wild shit. But yeah, I just think like that would have been the guy if there was a martyr, if he died, because that's kind of what was going on with all these other guys. You know, like they were wanted by the law. You know, Jesus was killed by the government of Rome, and that's that, you know, and now they're like, oh, you silenced him because he wanted a revolution. And that's the whole idea of this martyr. And Trump, if he would have died, probably would have been next.
No, I think it would have strengthened their cause because they thought the Democrats did COVID.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They would have. That's
COVID.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that they would have believed more in it as a religion, as like a religion, because he died for the cause, and the government straight up killed the person that was sent to save them. Like that's the story of Jesus Christ. Is that they sent someone to save them, and he was killed. Essentially by the government, but it's not. They don't get political in the Bible, but it was definitely like the emperor of Rome was like, "Yo, this guy's kind of stealing my thunder." He's speaking of like what Bernie and them were saying, where he's like, "Yo, you got to spread your money around. You got all these rich assholes," and they're like. And of course, the Pontius Pilate's like, nah, bro, fuck that shit, and he kills Jesus. Power. Yeah, and like now he's the martyr. But that literally would have been what Trump did. obviously he's not like sent by God. He's sent by like, I don't even know, man.
I feel like I've been awfully quiet this segment because
Angela's talking a lot,
Angela's
dude.
talking
You got to
a lot.
get on camera
Yeah.
next, bro. You're just going to weed your way into this.
No, I feel like I should be sitting over there. I know nothing about Jeebus.
I feel like I gave you a decent little lesson, man. It's honestly a
You're
pretty interesting
educated
story,
now.
but it's not an interesting story as like, hey, also like they say a bunch of silly shit like you can't eat shellfish, you shouldn't kiss boys, you know? Like they really stress. They don't even stress
You
kissing
can't
boys
listen
that
to
much.
Kanye West.
They maybe say
you can't masturbate.
Dude, I think it's some crazy line like it's a better thing to like commit adultery than to jerk your dingus and let the seed fall on the ground.
I'm pretty
that's what the
familiar
Bible
with
says.
this
It says
particular verse of the Bible.
It says it's better for your seed to fall into the lover of somebody else than onto the floor. Or some shit like
'cause
that.
This guy was taking care of his dead brother's wife, and his dead brother was like, please take care of my wife. Please have sex with my wife when I'm dead, please. And he's like, I don't know how I feel about that, man. He's like, come on, bro.
Bang my wife, dude.
And
come
so
on.
he was like, oh no, I can't really, I really don't want to like have a child with my brother's wife, you know? And
He's
then
dead,
he
dude.
came
It's
on the
free real
floor
estate.
and
they're saying like the pullout game's bad.
well, he's like, I'm really upset because that was your brother's last wish and you couldn't do that.
Oh, that's actually kind of sad.
I think that's...
But I don't think I'd do it either,
because it
dude.
said when he came on the floor, God was sad. but like, it wasn't like
God
that.
was like,
but God was like, damn,
Come
man,
on,
you're
bro.
spilling all over the
You're
floor like
spilling
that.
I go, you're making a mess. I gotta clean this up. It's my living room. Yeah, that's
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So
I could see him being mad
so I'm
about
like,
that. It's
I don't
reasonable,
know if
actually.
it's like masturbatory. Like he was having sex, dude. It was.
But that's I know how it's interpreted. That's how I know it's interpreted by
I gotta get the
folks.
cat.
Yeah, go grab
I gotta
him.
get the cat.
All right, we're
We
gonna
have
take
a
a quick
cat now.
break.
Cat break.
Yo, it's that dude's in jail and he's got a fucking pit bull, dude. He is absolutely like he is.
I definitely missed the context of that video. I was like, that's cool.
No, bro. Look, if you look at the background, he's literally got like a
He's in
door
jail,
shut.
yeah,
And he's
yeah.
got like his clothes hanging in the
Yeah, I didn't
background.
realize until you said it.
And then he's also got like a whole pit bull. And I know they do like you know, like programs where there's dogs and they like go help convicts for whatever
He
reason.
must have been good.
Yeah, he's I mean, he's also got a phone in there. Dude's got a phone, a dog. Like that dude's, I mean, he's just got free rent at this point.
Speaking of that, we did start watching 60 Days In.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I love that
We
show,
watched
man.
like the first half of the latest or the latest season on Netflix or whatever, when like the first people finished it, and then they do like he brings more people in.
Yeah,
so we stopped. We haven't finished it, but we got up to that point.
Yeah, man, that is that show is good and bad at the same time because I don't believe them. I don't believe the sheriff's doing what he's doing and like that these people aren't okay. I also feel like they instantly say to them like all the inmates immediately just go like, "You from 60 Days?"
Yeah.
Immediately they walk in, they're like 60 days, and they're like, "Bro,
They're like,
chill,
no,
dude,
no,
chill.
dude,
What are you talking about? Chill."
I was DUI. And
Yeah,
they're like,
he's
you're,
like, "Where
you're
you
fucking
from?"
here for
Yeah.
a DUI.
It's like, you know, this is what a murderers
Yeah.
are. And
I
he's like,
murdered like a
all
fucking
my family.
orchestra.
Yeah. You should have heard the cops, man. I was outside my house. They banged on the door. I walked outside. I was like, "Can I poop?" And they said no. And they brought me right over back in here, man. Yeah, I feel like jail people should have people in jail should have the proper terms. They should
People
have
who smoke weed, not weed people.
They should, yeah, exactly. They should have more shit, man. Like, I'm tired of this whole thing that we should fucking throw them in a drain and like drown them. Like, why? Like, what's the
I think
issue,
if they
dude?
had fucking like
what's the issue?
Xboxes in there, it'd probably be really.
There'd be less violence in
There'd
the
be
jail.
less
dude.
violence.
You
They'd
give
all
them
be having a
less,
good time.
You give them less things, and then
Then they
think
start
of the logic
making
of this. You separate criminals. They're separating them based on like the type of their crime, right? So you're like, oh, a bunch of violent people. Put put them all in the same room because you're like they'll all be violent together, thinking like at least the innocent people won't get hurt.
Well, you see, they
but
can't
you
give
just
them,
put a bunch of violence in one room. You
if
made
you
a
give
small
them
army.
Xboxes and they start playing Grand Theft Auto, then it's just going to lead to violence.
It's gonna
like
the school shootings.
they're going to want
jail
to shoot
shootings. Yeah,
I mean, I think they are violent in general, like just as people. They're because if you give them Madden or something and then one guy loses, I feel like that's a stabbing.
Okay,
they
I can
give
see.
them cards and stuff.
I can see this though, but also like just in general, man. Like from the way 60 Days In shows it is like there's already stabbings. Like maybe you don't give them Madden. You can give them like anything else. Like
definitely don't give them fucking Mario Kart.
Yeah, or Tetris or something where like you get
competitive. Get them like
a puzzle game or
they
something.
need a game where they gotta cooperate. They need fucking
they need Overcooked, bro. They need Overcooked, dude. That's the perfect game. Overcooked was perfect because you can get like a person from each oh, he's gonna fall. Oh, you can get a person from each like race in the jail because they all have the race gangs, and then everybody's friends, dude, because then all the gangs in the prison, they get one representative and they all have to work together. This is actually a case study in psychology. They did this thing where they took two groups of campers out into the woods, these little kids. This is a scientific study that has been deemed unethical. They took two
well, you first you started off with so they took a bunch of kids.
Let me tie it back in.
So this has been deemed unethical.
Let me tie it in. So you take these kids and you put them in. They take each of them out into the woods, and they are there for a camping trip. It's like a summer camp, and you have one team that has been named. They don't know about the other team, so you have like snakes versus raptors or whatever it is,
Okay.
Again, they don't know that they're there originally. They spend about a week. They have no adults. They have no like really means other than just their camping gear. There's after about a week, a leader is established. Like social norms within this one group is established. There's like
amongst themselves.
Exactly. Amongst this group, there's like a leader, and then there's like a do boy, as they say in 60 Days In.
These are kids.
These are children.
Like
they're about 11 to 13 years old, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
They're young though. They're impressionable young kids. So they. There's like a leader, there's like a do boy, as that's described in 60 Days, as just a guy who is buying his safety by doing whatever he can, right? And then there's like right-hand man type people, like all this other stuff. After about a week, they introduce this crew into the other crew, just kind of letting them know that, hey, there's another group out here. They also had like flags. Like they had like named them. They obviously had a name. So they like felt very prideful towards other things. So apparently they all had this like bathing lake where they would have like a freshwater lake, and that's where they'd bathe. And they let the groups go there at the same time. And that's kind of how they were introduced. And it was just gang violence, bro. It was just like, yo, raptors versus snakes, fuck them. And they'd like send the do boy over to go like, yo, go fucking set their tent on fire. And it's like little kids, like 11-year-olds, because they're like, we're the fucking boys out here. We run shit, dog. And so they're fucking with each other. And then the camp ends, right? The summer camp ends after like 3 weeks.
Before you get to your end point, the other team didn't have a name, or they named them later?
They both had names. They both were like
flags.
They were assigned names and flags.
Oh, okay.
They were like, you are the raptors. Here's your damn flag. Here's your snake. Here's your flag. And it again was just like, we're just going to Camp Raptor or whatever it was, right? So I remember specifically they had a guy burn like two leaders fought. It was like a straight up war. They like the winners like burned the other flag, literally straight up. Like that's some fucking psychotic shit, because that's what they do in like war. That's like what adults do in war, They're like, yo, flag on the moon? Build a whole space program, go take down the USSR's flag. Like, who cares? So now it's like final week. I don't know how long the experiment is, but they're bringing them back to camp. Like the main, where the main camp is. But they do it on a joint bus. They do it on a joint school bus. So, of course, there's fucking strife. They're not pumped. They're like, I'm not sharing a bus with this fucking raptor. Are you kidding me? They probably had some kind of like slur. They probably were
those
like
raps.
These fucking S. They're gonna say some kind of like bad word about them. And
Bunch of hissers over there.
Wow, hisser sounds like a slur, dude.
The raps and the hissers.
Yeah, they for sure did, like, no doubt, you know? But it was also like the 50s, so they were probably like, these gobbledygooks are overgoing cuckoo, you know what I'm saying?
Penny wagglers.
Yeah, exactly. They probably weren't even that bad. And so they got to get back on the bus, and they do an experiment by, when they stop, they like pop the tire of this bus, like whoever's in charge now, and they're saying like, you group have to figure this out, and they make them like work together to solve a problem. And then they like did a poll before, like they did like a poll before they got on the bus of like, how do you feel about the hissers? And they're like, I fucking hate those dirty hissers, you know? And they really do. That really feels like I'm saying a bad word.
I know.
and we made it up.
The way it rolls off your tongue.
Yeah, dude. I'm saying it with force, dude.
Yeah.
And so they were like, I hate them. I want them to die. And then they'd fix the bus and then put another survey, and they were like, you know, they're not that bad. They're okay. So it kind of showed that the way you get groups, that kind of in-group, out-group bias, the way you get away from some of that is like joint work. Now, this was a long walk, but that's why Overcooked in jail would be fucking dope. You just put the gang leaders from each thing into a game, have them work hard, and now we got peaceful prisons, man. We can stop this whole
So
game,
on
dude.
that note, I know sometimes when I play Overcooked, if you have somebody that's like just fucking up all the time,
That guy's gonna die.
that guy's gonna die. So
gonna
like
die,
in prison,
dude.
I think it's probably like the same. It's the equivalent of beating somebody.
But it's survival of the fittest. You know what I mean? It's like, he's gonna be a do-boy. Like, he's not gonna die. He's just gonna be like, what can I get for you, sir? What can I get for you? He's like, go get me the fucking lettuce, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's just gonna be a do-boy. It's just the way the natural growth in jail is
Okay.
gonna be. From what I've seen in 60
I like
Days
that.
In. I can't imagine. I do think there'll probably be some violence. But again, there's already some violence. I think it's like, you know, it's a productivity J curve, as they say in the
Should we
game.
start a petition to get jails Nintendo Switches?
Yeah, I'm down to do that.
Okay.
I'll actually. Okay, we're gonna start. We'll link it. I'm literally gonna start it. I'll send it to you. You can put it in the description. We'll link it. Sign a petition.
The only game they're allowed to play is Overcooked.
It's
though.
it's Overcooked.
Only Overcooked 1, not even 2.
Or community games. Just any kind of group effort games.
Okay.
But we're gonna stay away from like Mortal Kombat. We're gonna stay away from some of these games. You know, you got to work together.
Yeah, no 2K.
Yeah. You got another video for us? Pet related?
I like how he looks like he has like he's like looking around.
Wait, where is he? He's like looking for. He's like trying to get this video
wait,
done.
so for those who are listening in,
Yeah.
it's a man. You know, you could picture a kind of man that's going to be on TikTok doing weird things. He has like a cat filter on where he's got some ears. He's got a little bell around his neck. I think he's wearing real lipstick. I can't tell.
I don't know either.
It might be fake lipstick, like filtered lipstick. That it's hard.
I think
Filters
it's
are good these
I think
days.
it's filtered lipstick because I've seen videos of him before and he
It looks
doesn't
pretty-
typically do it.
It looks pretty like.
But he's dressed as a cat and he's
Yeah.
meowing constantly. But
Yeah.
the thing that I liked about this video was look he looks like he's like thirst trapping with his eyebrows a little.
Yeah.
And where is he? He's just in a white room and he's shirtless.
Yeah.
Where is he? Could
But
he be in
he's
a
definitely
hospital?
looking around like.
Yeah, he's looking
taking a
around
poop.
the room like he's got to do this before
Yeah.
someone comes in. He's like, if they catch me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back. This is Big Andy. So this guy is one of the guys on TikTok. I don't know if you know about these people on the internet who Andy probably has some psychosis. He definitely has like no teeth, dude. Like they are just like black pebbles in his mouth. It's like very intriguing. Like how'd you even do that? Because you think they'd fall out anyway. So Andy is very interested in the ladies that can be on TikTok. So a lot of times he'll make videos like this, and then in the comments he'll tag. He'll be like, any fine ladies who are in the Louisiana area. He's a Louisiana guy.
The first comment on this video is God isn't coming back for us.
Wow, dude, it's a well-rounded episode.
Thanks a
here.
lot,
We're really
Andy.
talking about, but you know, good for Andy though, because Andy's doing what makes him happy. Like Andy is definitely shirtless in an air-conditioned room with being a cat. You know,
I like how the filtered collar doesn't quite fit around his neck. So it just like he has like
Yeah.
a fucking like clit ring around his neck.
he has a big neck. You know, it's
Yeah.
very, very large. Yeah, that's Big Andy. I just wanted to introduce you into him. And also it was kind of on like possibly in jail. Well, not. I don't think Andy's in jail, but just like the guy with the dog, Andy is in a room, I think, against his will. Different reasons, but both of them have like a nice little pet that they get.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I saw something weird on the train a few weeks ago that I keep meaning to bring up, but I forgot, but I just remembered.
Nice.
So I'm sitting on the train and there's this guy. Man, I hope I remember everything. I wrote it down, but the recording with my phone, so I can't look at it. But so I'm sitting down. There's this guy sitting across from me. He has like a small wad of singles in his hand, and he's kind of just like counting them in his hand. And then some other guy, you know how they burst through the cart from like the next cart over, like asking for money.
Yeah, they do burst.
They burst in.
It's like
He's like, anybody got any money? I'm homeless. You know, that whole spiel.
Yeah.
The spiel. And he immediately hides his money. The guy sitting down.
That's new money.
Pretends to fall asleep. So he's just sitting there with his eyes closed, like doing a really bad job of pretending to be asleep. And then as soon as the guy passes, he kind of does like the peek, like, is he gone? So the guy passes, goes to the next cart. He opens his eyes and then he's like wearing a coat. He takes out he like opens his coat like this. It takes a bite of a Snickers, an open Snickers.
Who is this?
I don't know. An open Snickers in his pocket inside of his coat.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That guy's so cool. He's up to something. That's
Yeah.
a sneaky guy.
Yeah.
What's it? Because he's hiding money, and then you're like, what else has he got in there?
Yeah.
And but what if it's like some kind of superpower Snickers, you know? Because why else would he be like worried about that guy? He's like, he's going to take my Snickers, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was funny, though.
That's a wild one, man.
Yeah.
Just
like an open Snickers, you know? Like, it was there already, like, ready to go.
He was like, okay, I can finally safely eat this
Yeah.
on the train. I got to get on a train because then I can open
I think
up my
he did
jacket.
the statistics. He's like, it's guaranteed there's going to be one guy on this train ride that bursts through the door. All right, that moment has passed. I'm safe to eat my Snickers now.
I bet that guy is used to being the guy who bursts through the doors. He's like, there can't be
Probably.
two of us.
He had a
It's-
couple singles in his hand, so maybe he was
That's-
a door burster.
That's new money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You gotta protect that. I feel for some of those guys on there. I saw this dude once on the train. I mean, it's like sad. I always feel for people who are on drugs because it's, you know, I hate when people are like bagging on like drug addicts because it's like they don't just call it a disease because they just want to make it sound better. Like these people are unable to stop. It is a disease. They're done, you know, they need help, but they don't have the finances. So this dude's, it's just crazy to see. So he's bent over like this and the train, definitely like on like an opium balancing act, you know, but he's also got a cigarette in his hand while he's on the train, and he's trying to get it to his mouth. And in that moment, I was kind of pumped that he was so drugged up because he was trying to light a cigarette on the train.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, thank God he doesn't have the ability to do that right now, because that'd be such a dick move, you know. There was one guy who I mean, I guess it's not one guy. It's probably
You
tons
ever
of
get
people
on
do
the
that.
trains
They,
that like somebody had
smoked a
just
blunt.
smoked?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible, man.
Yeah,
You're just
dude,
fucking
what are you
trapped.
doing, man?
And I always like want to get out at the stop and like go to another train, but I'm like, I don't know, that's a lot of work too.
I do want to publicly scold people sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
I know that just makes you like a Karen or whatever, but sometimes it's just like, how are you not ashamed? Like, you just
Yeah.
want to say it to like obviously not the guy with the cigarette. Like I said, he's having trouble, but the guy who is there was one guy on the train just coughing because he's hitting a dab pen. You were there with me. He's
Yeah.
hitting a dab pen and he is coughing in public.
No mask.
You're already not allowed to do that anymore. That's already like, talk about new sins. Talk about the
Every
new
time I
sins
cough
that are
outside,
coming
I'm
in.
like,
dude, it's like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Okay. I choked on my spit. I don't know how, you know, and, but no, this guy was just, he'd go like just as loud as he could. And
sorry.
well, I moved it a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was good. That was solid.
Thanks,
Nice.
bro.
All
I've
right.
been doing this, man.
Yeah,
But
I
he,
appreciated that.
But yeah, so he's just like yelling at the top of his lungs, like just whatever at the top of his lungs. So, it's definitely a strange thing to deal with, and
I think I gotta
I'm
let the
glad it's
cat
done.
out.
I think he's calling
Yeah.
his cat.
definitely made it, man. I mean, is gonna get where they need to go, I think. But
by all means.
what do you do? Like, okay, imagine you're the guy filming, and I love the force, like. That just ran into a door at like full speed and then falls face first onto the ground, and then like you're the guy that they're in front of. Like, what do you do? You know, do you like
you kick them a little?
You kick them, right? You probably move your foot a little bit.
Shake with
you
the
go,
foot.
you good, dude? And they're like, no. But what if they're like out cold, like you know, they're like rolled over, like.
And they just don't get up.
Is it your responsibility? Like, is that based on proximity at this point?
I think it's your responsibility to like give it a little try, and then
I think it's a nose goes situation.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with that. I'm for sure gonna look up at someone, but here's how that's gonna work, right? Like,
there's somebody that's nice around me. You know, I'll do one of those.
Here's how this is gonna work. You're gonna look up as if you're in front, and I'm gonna look what I'm gonna do if I'm the guy who's not the closest to it. Okay, so you're gonna look over to me. And you're just going to immediately avoid eye contact with Tyler, like, as quickly as possible, because I'm not going to help you. You're the closest one, you know? Like, I don't know, unless I'm, like, a doctor, but I feel like doctors are, like, chefs where they don't want to do anything out of shift, you know? Like, chefs aren't gonna, like... Did we record the whole podcast?
We did, but I don't know when that stopped recording. Probably somewhere around 30 minutes.
We're not good. Okay. Anyway, that guy, it's just rap. Anyway, that guy, want to see him on the train next time. He's a good train guy.
Yeah, that didn't look like a New York train though. That looked like somewhere else.
Yeah, it was
blue and yellow. It was like Sweden or something.
Whoever it was, man, slammed face first into a car door of a rail car,
train car.
You go. Ha. And that's kind of what it feels like producing a podcast with Angela sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's, so everyone, I'm just kidding. I like you, Angela. So that's channel 1 for this week, and have a happy New Year's if we don't see you by then. Research Jesus, man. Go look him up. Google again.
I don't want to.
All right. Bye.